going bald at a young age, it's quite impactful to your self-esteem in a way. My anxiety, I can get rid of my anxiety from this if I just, all my friends they got full heads of hair, and there's me like losing mine. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah, man.
no. I think something that did help, and it sounds a bit weird, but
When did it all start for you then?
I used to have long ginger hair, like curly ginger hair. I was like, I finally beginning to, like myself because I had like the hair I wanted. I was like, cool, like I did notice it begin to sort of get a bit like stringy and like dead at the ends. And I was like, oh, it must just be because I'm using too much product and stuff like that. I moved in with my brother who also he shaves his head. He's 10 years older than me. Everyone's sort of saying, just shave it, have it like fresh start, grow it out again, and the usual. So I was like, like,
Like, like to re
yeah.
to like reset it almost.
Yeah, because I thought, oh, it's just dead. I've maybe I've used too much product in it, brushed it too much, sort of thing. So I was like, right, fine, yeah. But you know what? I am gonna shave it. Have a fresh restart. Like, so I shaved it off, and I was like, cool, I feel free. This feels great. I can't wait to grow it out again and have a fresh restart and give it a couple of weeks. And I was sort of noticing when it was coming through, it wasn't coming through properly. I was like, oh no, what's going on here? Like, it wasn't coming through at the full at the top, like the back wasn't coming through. And I was like, I didn't know. I was like, I must be balding early. Like, oh, I didn't realize this would happen so quickly. When you have that moment of panic, you sort of look online, you're like, oh my God, what can I do? I looked at all the, finasteride and minoxidil, but didn't really decide on it straight away. I sort of thought, hang on, I'll let it grow a bit. Maybe it's just where I'm not eating properly or
Yeah.
everything under the sun, that you can try and think of.
When you're like doing that research, what was your first introduction to those things?
I remember typing in like, hair loss prevention and stuff like that. And suddenly, obviously, the first thing that comes up is like Hims,
Yeah.
Keeps and everything. And I look at on forums like Reddit and stuff. I remember clicking on Hims and I was like, okay, they sell it to you quite well, where, with the prevent this and I remember looking at the before and after pictures and sort of going, wow, like that's really good. Waited a good couple of months and I thought, do you know what? Like it's clearly not growing back properly and I don't want to lose any more than I had. Waking up every day like, oh my God, like what do people think of me? Like, I'm
Yeah.
losing my hair already. I
Yeah,
used to
dude.
have
Yeah,
such long hair.
that's very real. Yeah, those thoughts are very real and very prominent during that time, right?
Yeah, and you're like, oh my God, like I didn't know if I liked myself again. I was like, oh my God, it's quite, your brain tends to overthink quite a bit when it's something drastic, like that. You think, oh my God, what are people going to think of me now? All my friends who knew me for having like quite long hair sort of moved out from my brothers, and I was like, right, okay, I've got my own proper finances now. I've got my own place. Went on to Hims. I sort of had a little bit of a consultation, kind of. I just wanted to ask him a few more questions because I did quite a lot of research.
Is it like face-to-face consultation or what is that like?
It was an email back and forth. So you basically booked for finasteride and minoxidil monthly, which is quite expensive as well. It was I think roughly about 50 to 55 pounds a month, which I actually began to prioritize over my own like financial situation where I was getting into debt, but I was prioritizing these pills over and the minoxidil over anything else because I was like, I can't lose my hair. Like it was, I just was so worried about it.
When you did the consultation for them to prescribe you and suggest like, yeah, jump on the minoxidil, jump on the finasteride, did you have to send them pictures and things like that or no?
No, it was
Really?
actually quite concerning in some sense. Like, all you do is you click, um, like a picture of your pattern baldness, basically,
Oh, so
or what you.
sorry, dude, it's just quite
That's okay.
interesting, right? Yeah, so you basically click what you think it looks like, and that's it.
Yeah, you say this is, this is the stage that it's at.
Mm.
I have no medical conditions, stuff like that, and it was very, very easy, which was also quite concerning.
And you're 19 at this point, right?
So yeah, I was 19 at this point. So I started to take them, for a good 3 to 6 months. I didn't notice anything, but I'm going to stick at it, see what it does. Give it about 6 to 7 months, and it did actually start to come through quite well, actually. Come through quite well. And I was like, wow, I'm making progress. But I was also putting myself into financial debt because I was so obsessed with how my hair looked.
Are you still doing a lot of like in the forums and stuff like this at this point as well?
Yeah,
Or
like, like what happens at 8 months, what happens at 9 months.
right?
Yeah, I remember just being very depressed over it. It's quite a huge anxiety constantly looking every single day at the mirror, morning, day, evening, wherever, whenever you want to go out, just constantly moving bits of your hair just to be like, this is how it should be perfectly. So yeah, that, happened for about a year and a half.
During this year and a half, is it still like you used the word obsession there? Is it
Mm.
like really constantly just on your mind, always checking? Can you describe that for me a little bit?
Every single day, whenever I'd go to the bathroom, not because I wanted to see myself, it wasn't that, it was more of I just wanted to see if my hair was falling out. So every time I go to the bathroom, anything get come out the shower, or just anytime there was a window, just to double check that my hair was, not noticeably balding. And I'd do that every single day up until I shaved my head, like, repeatedly, because I was just so worried of what people would think about it, and say, oh, you're balding, or you never know. That's the anxiety and the worries that you have.
Well, I want to ask you, like, what did you think about it? Was it more I'm thinking about how I looked at others, or were you like internalizing and worried yourself about what you look like? What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was more internal. Like, a lot of people would say to me, like, because I'm quite tall, so I assume it was sort of hidden because I was, people couldn't truly see the top of my head. But when it's happening, I feel like you get into your head, you're like, it's not going to stop, and you notice it more. So I sort of, internally kept it, like, just trying to keep it hidden and stuff. And sometimes I'd ask my friends and stuff, I was like, is it like, does it look like it's coming back? Is it, and I think a lot of them did know that I was really worried about it. I felt very anxious about going out quite a lot. Even if people complimented my hair sometimes, I'd still feel like, are they just saying that because they know I'm balding, or they actually see my hair okay? Everything, no matter what, I'd always overthink.
It's always on your mind.
Yeah, and they obviously say as well, like with minoxidil and finasteride, like if you stop taking it, it will fall out again. So
Yeah.
you feel like you're stuck in that trap of, if I stop paying for this, there goes my hair again. It's quite a savage situation to be in. And but the before and after pictures they showed were just so, like, incredible. It makes it, anyone that sees that will go, oh my God, maybe this could happen to me. And like we said, once you're in, you've got to keep paying for it. Otherwise, that's it. Your hair will fall out.
Yeah, dude. So that's the point you're getting to, right? You mentioned there it was like it pretty much became obsessive at that point.
Yeah, like every day I just think, like, what do people think of me? Like, my partner, who's great, she's seen me with long hair,
Mm.
and well, before we actually got together, so there was less of an anxiety about that when I did shave it again, like now. But back when, I was balding, I was thinking, I'm quite young. Like, do people my age, if I did want to go out and try dating and stuff, it's a lot harder.
Yeah, it's like another
Um,
factor that plays into it, right? The stress of that almost is a massive detriment, right? In the dating game itself.
yeah, exactly. Not only are you worried about meeting people, but you've also got this on top, which is like, well, it made me not want to actually try it sometimes. No, maybe like a year towards like a year, I began to sort of notice that more hair was falling out again.
Right.
I'd be checking the mirror every time, trying to make sure my hair was pushed over, just, it was like hidden. I tried to sort of like part it like that almost, so it would hide the top bits, and then any way I could, just to make sure it didn't look like I was balding, it was deliberately like that.
Yeah, yeah. How did you notice it was thinning again or falling out again?
So I had pictures on my phone, and I was like, this doesn't look like it should, like it did a couple of months ago. I've got quite a lot of photos that sort of almost document the journey, more patches here and here, and I sort of thought, hang on, that wasn't there a few months ago, a couple of months ago. So I started to notice that it was falling out again. It was sort of stayed like that for a while. I'd try and get haircuts to sort of hide it. I'd even say to the barber, which is quite tricky to do, like, I am balding, like, could you try and, like, do me a haircut that could hide it? They do it kind of well, like they do it pretty well, but deep down you still knew, like, you were balding. Like, eventually I sort of slowly learned that, like, shouldn't be something that I'm afraid to do. Like, this, it's natural at the end of the day, and these pills that I'm taking, and this minoxidil, it's not natural, and ultimately it's still not truly bringing back all of my hair. And at that point I looked into hair transplants as well. I actually had a consultation with someone for a hair
Oh, yeah.
transplant. I sort of showed him my hair, and he sort of looked straight away and goes, yeah, you need to get an ASAP, you need to book this, like, we can do payment plans, I can send you them over, I'll give you a discount. Constantly trying to, and I, definitely just trying to get his commission. And he didn't truly look at it. And he'd go, I've had a hair transplant, it works so well. Like, all of it just trying to get you in. And
Can you remember how you found that guy?
it was through TikTok, actually. You know how phones are like, they find,
Listening in, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Started getting adverts for hair transplants, and I was like, oh, okay. And yeah, you also told me about as well, when you do get a hair transplant, like you still got to take finasteride, I'm pretty sure, to keep
Yeah.
whatever you've got in.
The consultations, and you obviously been paying for this for a long time, been checking, you've been really into it, or not into it, it's not in that way, but like you've been really on it. When did it change?
Well, I remember just getting a haircut one day, and I looked at it. I was like, "It's cool, I don't mind it." And still looking in the mirror just at the back, just to see how they did it. And I remember still seeing that it was balding. And I thought to myself, I've just paid this money to get this haircut. I still don't feel comfortable in myself. I'd say to my partner, like, you remember me with a shaved head? Like, I think I might do it again. So I sort of would wait a day. I'd be like, I'm going to do it today. Still couldn't do it. I was like, I can't just do it yet. And then we went on holiday for a week, and sort of, I'd still be talking about. I was like, I think when we get back, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it.
Are you still on the meds at this point?
Yes. So basically, oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. So, I actually forgot to take them for a few days before the holiday.
Okay.
And I forgot them on holiday.
All right.
So
Okay.
so I was thinking about it, each evening on the holiday, like, do I really want to be taking these meds? Maybe I should just stop it, just stop taking them, stop with the minoxidil, and just accept, you know, the natural balding, because why not? Yeah, so I said to my partner, I was like, I'm gonna stop taking these meds now. And yeah, I left it for about a week and got home. First thing I did was like, right, I've got to shave my head. It's got to be done. I can finally sleep at night and not have to worry. So yeah, we shaved it, and yeah, I just at the moment we did it, I sort of looked in the mirror and I was like, I just feel so free. Like I don't have to. I checked the back. I was like, I don't even mind. Like, I don't have to move my hair or anything like that. And I've sort of began to love myself after I shaved it. Went back to work the next day, and everyone just sort of said, complimented, it really suits you. You've got an all right head shape. And my confidence sort of slowly started to build up. And, it's only recently. I really want to like sort of start making posts and stuff, kind of like what you're doing, just to sort of inspire people like my age and maybe not my age, just to sort of help them through it. I hit the point where I was like, my anxiety, I can get rid of my anxiety from this if I just accept how I look and see how it goes. And ultimately, it's how you feel about it at the end of the day. And if you feel comfortable in yourself with it, then truly that's all that matters. I don't actually regret all of it happening, to be honest, because
Happened in the right way for you, right?
yeah, and I feel stronger for overcoming it almost. I
What do you think it was for you that allowed you to kind of be able to accept it, or be able to, because obviously it's such a mind shift, and it was for me, like going from, no, like this can't happen, this can't be happening to me, I've got to stop this, I've got to a point where you're like, actually this is fine.
I think something that did help, and it sounds a bit weird, but I don't want to hide. I don't want to hide myself. I want to just walk out like everyone else, and I am who I am at the end of the day, shaved hair, long hair, like I shouldn't have to hide.
And you said in your DM, you said, I want to share this with other people to not feel ashamed of it. So is there something you want to share with someone that might be watching this?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, a lot of men will go bald, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it. Yeah, it's like almost like an endless cycle or a train until you get off it, because once you start and once you see that ad, and once they've told you, this it will fall out once you stop, people have been taking it for years and they'll stay on that train because, and these companies are constantly making so much money because people aren't jumping off the train. And appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Brilliant. And you too, brother.
Bye
Take care,
bye.
man. Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.